confession time. I didn't really train. I didn't train for the hills. It's beautiful weather today. And when I say beautiful, I mean it in the aesthetic sense, because right now I'm freezing my ass off, and the wind, I hear it's gonna be kicking. Regardless of how it turns out, the big day is here. So let's just get the damn thing done. All right. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binatarians, it's your boy, Bison on the Bayou, back after a year sabbatical, and I'm happy to be with you. Listen, MS 150 2023 is officially behind us, and I gotta say, this one was effing legendary. It was one for the books. Dare I say it was the best ride I've ever been on, for a bunch of reasons. Now, I know a lot of you that actually attended the event are probably listening to this and thinking this man is out of his mind. It was a nightmare. It was hell on earth. And maybe that's what made it special. At least half of the ride was like that, because day one, holy mackerel. As predicted, phase one is a nightmare. But it's great. At least it's not hot. The wind, the crosswinds, through the entire duration of the ride, save perhaps the last 7 miles in my case, when the winds finally died down. You know, that 75 miles that I took from Brookshire to LaGrange, it was pretty much wind the entire time. Not just sustained winds of like 20, 25 miles an hour, but wind gusts that felt like maybe 40 miles an hour. It was absolutely insane. But we could get to all of that. This year I rode with the Pride bike ride, the Hot Mess Express as I know them, my very good friends. You know, I joined that group some years ago just to get on my bike, and I made friendships that actually matter to me. David Laredo, good friend of mine, he actually leads the Pride bike ride. I believe Pride bike ride was the first of its kind, the first LGBT, QIA plus ABC through Z and a bunch of other characters. It was the first of its kind, being a, I guess, special interest bike ride catering to the LGBT community. But of course they are open to allies such as myself, and I really just went there to ride my bike. But what ended up happening was I made a lot of good friends and people that I admire, great people to drink with as well. So I was riding with the Hot Mess Express, that's Pride bike ride in Houston, Texas this year for MS 150. Kudos to them. Kudos to Dave for organizing. Kudos to all of our volunteers that helped us with food, set up our tents, especially in these windy conditions. We even lost some tents. We lost my tent. I think my house for the night might have been blown away. That would suck. But outside of that, it was superb. So let's talk about day one. Day one was full of wind. It was a grueling effort that we clawed and crawled our way through. There were points I was going downhill, and you would expect to be going fast, but I had to actually position my gears in the lowest gear possible, which absolutely blew my mind. I didn't think that you could go downhill and have to pedal for your life, but that happened on MS 150 day one, Houston to LaGrange. I love MS 150 because it's something that could be enjoyed by some more advanced cyclists, but also it's accessible to normies such as myself that casually ride. This year, I committed the cardinal sin of not training at all. All right, well, that's a lie. I did, I think, 2 training rides, but they were far before, and they only amounted to about 30 miles, and they were very lackadaisious. Normally, when I do a training, I kind of push the limits. These were very chill training rides, but also very beautiful and scenic ones, one of which was on the north side of Houston. I forget what the trail was called. Absolutely beautiful. Day 2, on the other hand, was an amazing relief from day 1. There was no winds. It was a beautiful, panoramic, cool day. Any breezes that you would get only felt good on your skin. It was absolutely stupendous, very rewarding. This was the first time throughout any MS 150, and I've only done 3 of these, but in previous years, I've had to use sag support. This year, no sag support at all. I'm very proud of that. I finally got that under my belt, And there are a few reasons why that I actually want to go into. So let's talk about it. Compared to previous years, I feel like I made some mistakes, okay? And you could actually see it in last year's MS-150 when I rode with the maniacs at the Liquor and Wood bike crew. You see that I'm wearing a black helmet with virtually no ventilation. I think it has a couple of holes in there for ventilation, but it's definitely inadequate for a ride like MS-150. It's also black, so it's absorbing heat. And I remember throughout the ride, I would hear this whistling sound that sounded a lot like an owl. And that kind of got in my head. At first I thought it was cool, but then after a while it got really annoying because you're going through these high speeds and all you hear is a freaking phantom at the top of your head. So the helmet choice of last year was a bad choice. Also last year, I had my seat positioned the wrong way. In fact, in both previous years, I had my seat positioned the wrong way. The outcome of that was numbness in my feet for what felt like months, a tingling, numbing sensation that just didn't seem to want to go away. I really wanted to avoid that this year, and I took a risk. The day before the ride, I actually switched my Stella Italia bike seat on my road bike with my old raggedy state bicycle bike seat, and I positioned it a few degrees downward rather than perfectly horizontal like I had before. That made a world of difference. I also pushed the seat back a little bit. I went into the ride thinking, hey, I might not have made the right decision there, but in the end, like, I did experience numbness during the ride, but that was easily remedied by simply changing my position a little bit, maybe standing up for a while, maybe unclipping for a little bit. I was able to get through that. So, yes, seat position, very important. Make sure you are either fitted or you do whatever you have to do to get in a comfortable position, because comfort on the MS-150 is of the utmost importance. And when I say comfort, we need to use this word within reason, because you will not be comfortable, okay? You are going to probably be sore. Everybody's butt hurts at the end of this ride, throughout the ride. You're sitting on this hard little seat and you're shifting your weight. So you need to manage not just your expectations, but manage your comfort throughout. Because yes, you will get sore, but you don't need to get injured. Here's my first point of advice: is take care of your butt during this ride. At the beginning of any ride, I put chamois buttercream on my bib. It's important to do that, not just before the ride, but throughout the ride as you are feeling sore. That's something that I did not do in previous years, and I suffered for it. This year, a lot of that suffering was reduced because I took care of myself. So if you need to take a break and reapply some of that cream, definitely do it. Do whatever you need to do to take care of your butt. Bring Prep H, I don't know. Bring wet wipes. I brought wet wipes this year. That was great because those porta potties, they're pretty intense. So do some of that to take care of yourself. All right. A lot of people won't tell you. I'll tell you. All my battery runs, I like to capture the bonnets. Am I losing my mind? Maybe a little. I've been on my bike for a long time now. Other mistakes I made in previous years. I had it in my head that if I stopped at every rest stop, I would seize up or cramp up, and I would exhaust myself if I stopped at every rest stop. I could not have been further from the truth. This year, because I didn't train, I stopped at every rest stop just as a precautionary thing. It's like I love-hate this ride. It's insane. I love this ride. Sometimes I hate it. But what happens when you stop at your rest stop? First of all, you do take a load off and you just refuel. Guys, all you need, you need a few things, but first and foremost, hydrate. MS-150 provides everything that you need to successfully complete this course, okay? They have Gatorade packets out the wazoo, electrolytes. They do not run short of this stuff, okay? Stop at every rest stop and fill up your water bottle, throw in some electrolytes, and you're gonna be sorted. Eat those damn bananas. Go bananas on bananas. Bananas are a great source of potassium, I'm told, and something about healing and cramping and all that is gonna help you. Also, pickle juice. In previous years, they were kind of light on the pickle juice. This year, they were spot on. I had all the pickle juice I needed. I didn't even need to bring those, reserves of pickle juice in my little fanny pack. So props to the MS-150 for making that correction.
Good job. Really good job.
Because I know people were complaining about it a lot in previous years. So yeah, you're gonna want to get your pickle juice if you feel like you are cramping. But just fuel your body. Your body needs that fuel. Your body needs the rest stops. Stop at all the damn rest stops, especially if you're, not a veteran in this. You don't need to abuse yourself. I freaking love the Fayettevilleans. Fayettevilleans? It almost sounds like they're villains, but they're really not. They're really nice people. Oh, Fayetteville. So glad to be back. I know the entire ride in and of itself is masochistic. I mean, you're gonna suffer, but it's also magical, Crashing about 8 miles short of finish, but we're gonna do this. Last rest stop is 1 mile away. We'll be okay. Something about this ride, man. Something about cycling in general, especially endurance cycling. Putting yourself in conditions that will take you beyond the threshold of pain. It's special, and when you reach that finish line, it feels like glory. When I reached the end of day 1 through all that wind, it took me probably 9.5 hours to complete day 1, the 75-mile ride, because of those damn winds and all of the gradients. It took quite a while. So take care of yourself throughout, because you're gonna suffer, but you don't need to suffer needlessly. All right, let's move along. So mistakes that I made this year. Once again, number 1, training. I did not train enough. As far as packing goes, I wanted to be generous and provide my team with a tent in case anybody needed extra quarters, so I got my biggest tent available, not thinking about the damn wind conditions. And as it turns out, Mother Nature didn't like my tent and decided to break it into pieces. So that was a mistake, but I feel like, I'm not sure if that one could have been avoided. One mistake that I made this year was, in fact, I've made this mistake every year, and I corrected myself on the latter half of day 2. So I remember on day 2, I was at the lunch rest stop enjoying a turkey sandwich provided by the MS Society, and I was complaining to one of my fellow riders about how sore my legs were, and he goes, "Hey man, why don't you throw on some BioFreeze?" And I'm like, well, I don't have any BioFreeze. He goes, "Get it at First Aid. First Aid has everything that you need." I always thought that the first aid stations were for people that were actually injured, people that, were cut or fell or something like that. I didn't know that they had things like ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is a godsend on a ride like this. BioFreeze, my goodness, I thought it was snake oil. I didn't think it would do anything. I put that stuff on, I was like, oh, it feels a little cold. What a gimmick. No, a few miles in, using that BioFreeze, I was like new, all right? Pair that with fueling your body properly. I was flying through that ride on day 2. I probably made the best time I've ever made. Unfortunately, I didn't Strava it, but it was great. So yes, definitely use First Aid for whatever you need. Shout outs to BioFreeze, shout outs to ibuprofen, and shout outs to the people, everybody at the MS Society, all the volunteers taking care of us. You guys are so friendly. Everyone is great. And I could tell that you're happy to do this. You guys are just good people. I see it. It's all over you. It's awesome. One thing that I will say was my saving grace through this year. Even though I didn't train on my bike so much, I did start a jogging routine. I was doing a couch to 5K, and that was about 6 weeks in before MS-150. I stopped a little bit beforehand, so this way, my body was fully healed and I could take on some level of a ride. I didn't think that the MS-150, like jogging, was going to help at all. Jogging and cycling are 2 very different activities that target different parts of your legs and your body. But my thighs thanked me for it. I was able to get through, and I think that jogging had a little something to do with that. Some more advice for MS-150. Make sure that you give your bike a tune-up. This year, Pride Bike Ride was sponsored by Gear Monkey Cycling. Those guys were absolute pros, professionals, friendly as hell, treated me great, treated my bike great. I went in there. It's this tiny little boutique bike shop with their specialty in bike repairs. But I went in there and I had a bunch of dumbass questions, and those guys, they didn't blink. They didn't seem annoyed by me at all. They just answered all of my questions, and I took some time. I was taking time from them, and time is money. I feel like I definitely got value just in the conversation alone. But then the actual work that they did on my bicycle, and they educated me about my bicycle. The work was superb. In previous years, I had my gear seize up during MS 150. I've had chain rubbing. I asked them about the chain rubbing. They gave me a little advice on what to do in those scenarios. But this year, there was absolutely no chain rubbing throughout the entire ride, and I was beating up my bicycle. And the thing about chain rubbing is, for one, that even though it does technically slow you down, in the moment, it really does at scale. And it also messes with your head. When you start getting in your head when you're constantly hearing that chain rub, and you could become obsessed over it. It could actually ruin your time. You have a bunch of other things to suffer over. Hearing your chain rattle, that's just another thing that, hopefully you could avoid. I highly recommend Gear Monkey. Definitely check those guys out if you're in Houston, Texas. In general, I would say a point of advice is to stay out of your head. During day one, it was really tough to do that. I am not very good at self-motivating, but I found it in myself to tell myself, you can do it, you got this, you could do this. I found myself saying it out loud. I've literally flipped off and cursed out the wind at one point. I looked like a lunatic. The wind was hitting me so hard, I was starting to get offended. But you want to stay out of your head. You want to keep that nagging voice in your head that says that you can't do this and that you're going to quit. You need to put that somewhere else and replace it with something good. Obviously have common sense. If you do need to stop, listen to your body. But I will say you are capable of more than you're aware of. You can push beyond that threshold of pain and get to another state of mind. Super important if you want to complete the ride. And a good way to stay out of your head is to bring music. I have a Celtic Blue speaker, and it fits right in my water cage. In my case, I put it on the back of my jersey, and I was able to listen to music, and other people were able to enjoy it as well. And a lot of people seem to appreciate that. One guy said to me that I bring the party with me as he was passing by. And that felt good to know that I was bringing a little joy to people while they were being completely immiserated by these insane winds that made no sense whatsoever. I think my key takeaway for this that I'd like to convey to you is you need to try this, all right? And I'm not saying you need to do MS 150, but by God, get on your bike. If you take it to a place where, maybe you start riding with a group and enjoying their company, maybe you might end up at some point doing a ride like this and truly challenging yourself. There's nothing like it. I feel like a quasi-athlete, like a normie athlete. I never thought I could even regard myself in such a way. I'm out of shape in general. I am able to do this 150 miles and people look at me like I'm insane, but you can do it. And the thing about it, you can make friends on this, but really there's a type of bonding that occurs when you're on a ride like MS 150 and you keep on. It's a touch and go relationship that you have with the people around you. Sometimes they fly ahead of you, sometimes they fall behind. But you catch up with them, maybe on the road, maybe on the rest stops, and you encourage one another and you smile at one another, and you're in this thing together. It's a beautiful thing, not something to bat an eye at. And by the end of it, you all made it there together. The feeling of accomplishment, the achievement, especially after a ride like this one, MS 150, 2023, day one. Okay, getting through that ride to me was legendary. All right, I feel like I was a part of something special, and I know that a lot of you feel the same way, those that participated in it, and I'm very proud of all of you. Viewer, if you're listening to this, be about it, man. Get out there, get on your bike, and just start putting in some miles. When I first started, I was proud of myself for riding to the corner store. This is accessible, this is healthy, and it feels great, and it's great for the damn psyche. You gotta do it. You will make friends, you will build relationships, and you'll be better for it. So get on your bike. Last time I'll say it, get on your damn bike. And now before I go, I want to give a few shout outs. Mike Cantello of H-Town Transport. Thank you so much for, providing that party bus for us at the end. We were able to go out real ratchet and in style. It was a great ride. Had to reel a few people in, but other than that, superb. And you are a true pro. Everybody check out htowntransport.com. The party bus is amazing. All right, I want to give a shout out to my donors for my fundraising effort. First and foremost, right off the bat, Ms. Mila Mose. I miss you, girl. Where you been? Man, hey, thanks for your contribution. It was great. Stephanie Fernandez. Stephanie Fernandez is an old high school friend of mine, and it turns out that, well, she kind of flew under my radar on Facebook, and I come to check in on her and look at her. She's like a damn Olympian. She's a triathlete competing in Dubai. What the hell's going on? She's like Miss Team USA. What's going on over there, Steph? I'm so proud of you, girl. It's inspiring to see what you're doing. Matt McKinney, you the man. Thank you for helping me out. You were the one guy that scanned the damn QR at my little Festivus party, and you dropped a little something in the bucket, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I got you, man. Anything you need. All right. Denise Disney, friend, colleague, thank you so much for your donation. The Carrillo family, Giselle and Elmer, your beautiful family, thank you so much for supporting me. Advice to anybody listening to this, guys, if you need donations, you just need to ask. You know, your friends are there to support you, and my friends at the Carrillo family, they stepped up. Same with Natalie Guzman. I hope that you're having a great time in Peru on your spiritual journey. I hope it's yielding fruits, and I know that it is. And John Emmer Effin Rivera, old friend of mine, you the man, and we're gonna chop it up again soon, buddy. Thank you for that very generous donation. Number one out of all of us. I don't even know what to say to that, man. You're too damn generous. I love you. Thank you. And finally, my mom. Oh my God, Ma, thank you. Big hugs. You didn't need to do that, but I'm glad you did. That donation. Tell you what, it bought a little more extra time with your granddaughter. All right. So everybody, that about does it. That's all I have to say about this year, 2023 MS150. Thank you for enduring my rambling. I tried to organize this into certain points. I hope I touched on everything. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the chat. But yeah, man, if you're in Houston, Texas, try it out next year. Join a team. Join one that supports you. Join one with a good culture. They're going to take good care of you, and you got to take care of them. That's why we call it a bike cult. So yeah, that's all, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and peace out. What a mess. What an absolute mess.
On Next Express.
Why you think
Your feet hurt me, got me.
Wow, Sinatra. Wow, Sinatra.
Wind, I will stay home, even in Houston.
Okay, there was wind the entire time.
I know. So I've been cycling in downtown Houston in wind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're about to fall over. Like,
Yeah.
Literally. And I have a steel bike. My frame is steel.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm like about to fall over. And so I have to like find a big building that doesn't have wind.
This whole ride, except for the final 7 miles. The final 7 miles, we had the wind on our back, which was like, I did. Really? Oh well, it died down. Like it died down to the point that I felt like a normal person.
It felt like a great thing.
Yeah.
Normally that would have been terrible.
You don't need a hobby. Just pee on yourself.
Bro, you got bushes over there, bro. Gesundheit. David, you stoned, David?
We did the MS1.
Wapiti.
Hey! We did the MS Wapiti. Hey!
Exactly. Bison.
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 Bison.